Hey, before we jump into today's conversation, I'd like to take a moment to tell you about a resource that I believe will encourage you. If you've ever wondered about choosing between building a successful career and faithfully serving God, I'd like to invite you to read my new book, brand new, Blessed on Both Sides. For years, I believed I had to choose between success in the marketplace, my printing company, or success in the ministry. But through God's leading, I discovered something life-changing. You don't have to choose. You don't have to choose between the two. God desires us to honor Him in every way of our lives, including our careers, finances, businesses, and ministry. And in Blessed on Both Sides, I share my personal story from the business world into full-time ministry, along with a practical biblical principle of financial stewardship, generosity, wise decision-making, and living in God's overflow. I'm big on that, living in the overflow. You'll hear me say that if you follow me, but I'm always saying in the overflow. So whether you're a business owner, a ministry leader, or simply someone who wants to honor God with their resources in their life, I believe this book, Blessed on Both Sides, will inspire you. Blessed on Both Sides is available on Amazon in hardback, paperback, or Kindle. Or if you're in Southern California, or if you attend True Vine Pentecostal Church, I'd be honored to personally sign a copy for you. Okay, now that I've got that out of the way, let's jump in today's episode of In the Loop. Today, I want to talk about the herd or herd mentality. No, I didn't repeat myself. I didn't stutter. Let me give it to you again. I'll break it down. The herd or herd mentality. Subtitle, Why Smart People Still Believe Lies. Ooh, it's going to be good. Hey, have you ever noticed how quickly people form an opinion about something they've never actually talked to or with someone? Not because they witnessed something, not because they verified the facts, not because they searched for the truth. They simply heard it, H-E-A-R-D, with their ears. And because enough other people seem to believe it, they assume it's true. So that's why I call it the herd, H-E-R-D, or herd, H-E-A-R-D, mentality. I know it's kind of corny, it's a play on with words, but both meanings describe something that's becoming a real problem in our culture. The herd, H-E-A-R-D mentality, is following the crowd without thinking for yourself. The herd, I heard it, mentality is believing something simple because you heard it, simply because you heard it. One follows the crowd, the other follows the conversation. Both lead people away from the truth. Let me just tell you something. You already know this. You're smart. The crowd isn't always right. The masses aren't always making the right decisions. One of the biggest mistakes I think people make is believing that if enough people are saying it and doing it, it must be true. But history teaches us otherwise. Watch this. The majority mocked Noah when he built the ark. The masses. The majority rejected the prophets. The majority stood before Pilate and cited, "Crucify him!" That's the crowd. The crowd has never been God's standard or plumb line for truth. Truth isn't determined by public opinion. Truth is determined by whether it's true. Henceforth, truth. You see, I think human nature has a weakness. Can I share it with you? We're often more interested in hearing a story than verifying one. When we hear one, we hear someone's opinion, we hear an emotional version of events, and before long, we formed an opinion about something that we never even spoke to or was there firsthand. I think Proverbs 18:13 pretty much declares it. It says, "He that answereth a matter before he heareth," King James obviously, "it is folly and shame unto him." In other words, don't make a judgment until you've heard the whole story, until you've heard the whole matter. One of the greatest lessons in my ministry, in my life, is this. There is always three sides, 1, 2, 3, to every story. Your side, their side, and the truth. It's true. Wise people, here, let me get this. Wise people seek understanding. Foolish people simply repeat what they've heard. Don't be foolish. Be wise. Think about how gossip usually begins. I heard, people are saying, everyone knows. How many times have I heard that pastoring when people are coming up to tell me something that they think is wrong? Hey, I heard this. People are telling me. Everybody knows. Those statements sound convincing, But usually in my pastoral experience, there's very little evidence. So I always ask the people just to kind of push back, well, who's the people? Who is everyone? And most of the time, nobody really even is saying it. Yet reputations are being damaged anyway. A rumor repeated 1,000 times is still a rumor. Oh, everybody's saying it. It's still a rumor. You see, popularity doesn't necessarily create truth. Perhaps this has never been more dangerous than today because of social media. Years ago, a rumor might be contained within a neighborhood, a village, a workplace, a small circle of friends. But today, a post can travel all the way around the world within minutes. One accusation, with AI, one edited video, one misleading headline, one anonymous comment. And suddenly, the herd, H-E-R-D, mentality of thousands of people have formed an opinion by one single fact that has not been verified. So, leader, be careful. Social media has created digital herds. People see hundreds of comments agreeing with something and assume, well, all these people can't be wrong. Actually, they can. Sometimes thousands of people are simply repeating what one person's original voice was that was wrong. So the crowd gets louder, bigger, larger, but the evidence never really gets stronger. That's why I would say this. Listen, woe to them, or woe to those who believe everything they read on social media. Come on, good preaching right now. You know, not everything that's shared is accurate. Not everything that's popular is true. Not everything that goes viral is honest. Proverbs says in 18:7, the one who states his case first seems right until another comes and examines him. Social media, it's a two-edged sword. Social media usually lets us hear the side first. The other side often never gets heard. Or by the time it does, the damage has already been done. You've formed your opinion. Here's something I've learned over the years. When I hear something that sounds shocking, odd, or almost unbelievable to be true, I don't want to, but I don't want to believe it. My personality, my tendency is, well, let's verify it. Politics, fact check it. Sometimes I'll do fact checking on a website called Snopes, S-N-O-P-E-S, Snopes, to see whether the viral story has been investigated. I mean, that's kind of what they do. They're fact checking websites. It's a cool site. Other times I'll compare the claim against multiple reliable news sources. The point is that one website doesn't have all the answers. You have to take time to verify before you believe and join the herd, H-E-R-D, of cows or whatever. I do the same thing with sports. Almost every day, I'm on social media. I like technology. I'm not kicking social media to the curb, although it's a blessing and a curse, but nevertheless, we'll talk about that later. But I do the same thing with sports. Almost every day, I'll read a headline on social media that says, hey, whatever, let me make this up. The Padres traded their most famous star, or the Padres sent so-and-so down to AAA. And that's kind of weird. So before I believe it, I'll ask AI to check the latest report, or I'll look at a trusted sports website source. And do you know what I find? Many of the stories aren't even true. They're what the internet calls clickbait. New term for you? Clickbait. Let me explain. Their goal is to get you to the truth, but they don't. Their goal is to get you to click. And the more shocking the headlines, the more emotional the story, the more you're likely to open it. And once you've clicked it, now you've accomplished exactly what they wanted. In other words, I'm trying to get you to click you into my landing page. I'm not talking about pornography. I'm not talking about sexual stuff. I'm not talking about evil, vile. I'm just talking about, hey, whatever. Did Tatis Jr. get traded to the Atlanta Falcons? He had an argument with management and they kicked him out and they walked him off the property. Something ridiculous. Oh, that's kind of weird. I don't know. So I'll fact check that. And then stories like that, that's a similar one I've heard, aren't even true. So someone tells us a story, someone shares an accusation, someone repeats the rumor, and instead of verifying it, instead the person takes it to another person and they don't even ask questions. And before you know, the proverbial bait-clicking gossip amps up. We become emotionally invested in something. We don't even know what it's about. We don't even know if it's true. What are you saying? I'm saying, come on. Use your ears and common sense. Validate, verify, fact check. Anything in life. Could be about a pastor. It could be about a minister. It could be about a family in the church. It could be about a brother. It could be about a coach. Hello. You see, it's scalable in all areas of your life. And if we're not careful, before long, we're repeating it to someone else. And that's exactly how the herd mentality becomes the herd mentality, H-E-R-D. Claro? Claro que sí? Is it clear? Let me break it down. One person believes it, then another, and until suddenly everybody's believing something that they don't even have facts for, and if it's true in the first place. Let me just tell you something here. You know this, but let me reiterate it since I'm on a campaign. Truth matters. Fact matters. People matter. And before you believe it, verify it. Before you repeat it, confirm it. Amen. Good preaching. True. And before you allow a rumor to shape your opinion of another person, ask yourself this, okay? Just ask this. Do I actually know this is true? Or have I simply joined the herd of cows because of what I've heard with my ears? You see, Jesus never let the crowd mentality, the herd mentality, form his opinion. We went to Zacchaeus, a crooked tax collector, but Jesus saw a man that could be changed. Come on, somebody, I'm preaching now. When others saw a woman caught in adultery, you know the story, we preach it. Jesus saw a poor woman in need of mercy. When others saw Saul as an enemy of the church, God saw him as the Apostle Paul. Come on, somebody. You see, Jesus always acted and looked deeper than the rumors. He looked beyond public opinion, public court. He looked into the heart. And that's the lesson that all of us need to learn and do today. Too often, we judge people by what we've heard, ears, instead of what we actually know. Here's something I think every one of us needs to think about. If you run with the herd, H-E-R-D, I'm going to say cattle. If you run with the cattle, you may unknowingly become a part of the problem. Every time we repeat something that's haven't been verified, we are damaging someone's credibility. We're damaging their character. We're damaging their reputation. We just stop, everybody. Think about that. You may be repeating something that isn't true. You may be helping destroy a reputation that took someone years to build. Good stuff. You may be influencing others to see someone in a bad light. The Bible says Proverbs, good stuff, right? This is dangerous, but Proverbs deals with it. A persevere person stirs up conflict, and a gossip separates a close friend. Notice what the herd or cow herd mentality does. It separates, it divides, it destroys, it damages friendships, it fractures families, it hurts churches, it weakens ministry. Nothing good comes out of it. Every time you say, "Did you hear?" the rumor gains another voice. The herd, the cows, get bigger. Come on, don't become that person. I major on leadership. It's my candy stick. Be known as someone who protects people rather than tears them down. Be known as someone who seeks the truth before speaking. Be known as someone who uses words to bring healing instead of hurt. Come on, good preaching. Spiritually mature people don't rush to judgment. They don't automatically believe the headlines. They don't assume the crowd must be right. They slow it down. They ask questions. They verify. They fact check. That's wisdom. Discernment isn't being suspicious of everyone. Discernment is refusing to make conclusions without evidence. Here's my challenge. Okay, I gotta wrap up. I'm going extra long today. But here's my challenge. The next time someone says, "Did you hear about so-and-so?" Pause for a moment. Don't automatically believe it. Don't automatically repeat it. Don't automatically join the conversation. Instead, ask yourself, do I actually know if this is true? If not, maybe the wisest thing you could say is this. Here's what, because I'm going to give you your script. I don't really know enough about that right now to have an opinion. There is strength in resistance. There is wisdom in silence. There is integrity in refusing to participate and something we can't verify. Imagine what your leadership or our church would be like if we all adopted that. Don't add to the rumor. Don't add to the voice. Don't add to the chaos. Don't add to the noise. Just contribute to the truth. Don't let what you've heard make you a part of the herd mentality. Because once a reputation is damaged, it's incredibly difficult to restore it. And I don't want to be involved in no careless conversations. I don't want to be involved in no unverified stories. I don't want to repeat nothing. No, I don't want to do that. Facts more than feelings. Character more than conversation, because the crowd is often wrong. But watch me now, God's truth is never wrong. Okay, thank you for joining me today on In the Loop. If this episode has challenged you, I encourage you to share it with someone, not because it's sensational, but because it's true. And in a world where everyone is quick to repeat what they've heard, let's become people who are known for seeking the truth. Okay, until next time, God bless you. Keep pursuing the truth, and I'll see you in the loop.